Now, at first when I started using this library, I didn't really get what the hype was about, but after using it for a couple of days, I started to see the appeal of this library. When you start using this library, you'll question why IOStream was written the way it was. The number one reason I say this is because the FMT library does away with a lot of the chevron spam you have to write in order to include variables in your print statements using the IOStream library. So the most obvious reason you would use this library is to get a better interface for printing. Okay, so let's get down to it and print out a simple hello world message. So in the FMT library, to print out a hello world, it's fairly simple. It's a lot easier than IOStream. All you do is just type fmt print and then hello world. And I know that this may not be obvious, but compare this with I think this is more, this makes more sense for new programmers to do compared to something like this. But anyways, let's get down to it. Let's click F5, let's compile this and see what we get. And as you would expect, we got hello world. Okay, so that's cool, but what does this actually do that, let's say, IOStream doesn't do? We can print out variables by adding a replacement field, and a replacement field is simply a combination of curly brace symbols. So, for example, what we can do is we can print out a loop, and we can print out the loop's induction variable. So, for example, we can do something like this. Okay, so what are we doing here? So basically what I'm doing is I'm printing, let's say, everything from 0 to 9. And what we're doing is we're taking the induction variable, so we're taking I, and we're passing into this print. And the reason we can do this is because I added this replacement field. So these curly braces, they're called the replacement field. And whatever you pass into this print function, it's going to get replaced. So this section is going to get replaced with this I. So if we run this, as you can see, we went from 0 up to 9. In fact, I think I should just replace this new line character with a space, and I think that'd be more readable. Yeah, so I guess that's more readable. So as you can see, you've got all of the numbers from 0 up to 9. Now, what we can do is we can actually specify multiple arguments to this print. And to do that, all we have to do is just add another replacement field. So we can add a second replacement field like this, and we can take this for loop and just copy it over. And I think I'm gonna reduce this to 3 to just not make it so annoying. Okay, and then what we can do is we can pass in this j like this. And to make it more clear what we're printing out, I'm just gonna pass in maybe like I here and a j here, and let's compile this. And as you can see, or maybe should add a new line character here. That would make it better. So as you can see, we're printing out all of our i's and all of our j's, and it's keeping track of them. But the main point here is that you can basically add as many replacements as you want. I am not sure if there's a limit to this, but basically you can add as many replacements as you want. Now, another thing you can do is you can actually change the order. So you can change the order of these arguments by specifying, let's say, 1 or 2. So you can specify 1 here, and you can specify this to be 0. And instead of this being I, it's actually going to be J. And then back here, instead of this being J, this is actually going to be I, because this is the first replacement and this is the second replacement. So what's going to happen is I is going to get populated here, and then J is going to get populated here. So let's run this. Yeah, so as you can see, J begins at 1, or should I say, begins at 0, goes to 1, 2, and then when this loop finishes, the inner loop, so this J loop finishes, it goes back to 0, and then I gets incremented by 1. So as you can see, J is being printed out here, and then I is being printed out here. And this is actually exactly as you expected, because I passed in J as the second argument, and I passed in I as the first argument. So basically what's happening here is this is the first replacement, and this is the second replacement. So I is being put here, and then J is being put, so J is being put right here. I hope that makes sense. Okay, next up. Okay, so now that we did this, there's another cool thing that this library can do, and that is you can specify the color and text style of your output. So for example, if I wanted to, I could print out a line with, let's say, a blue background and a red foreground, and let's just actually do that now just to show you how it works. So I believe FG stands for foreground, and what you can do here is you can pass in, let's say, a color. So what color do I want my foreground to be? And I'm going to pass into here the color red. Now add this pipe symbol, and then specify a background color. And as you would expect, background is just BG. And I'm going to pass into this one, I would say, the color blue. So I'm going to say FMT, color, and then blue. And then some message, I'm going to say test. And let's compile this. And as you can see, we got a blue background and a red foreground. Now, we can also specify the text style. So if we wanted to, we can specify our text to be like bold. So we can like change the style of this text to be bold. And to do that, all we have to do is just pass in FMT emphasis, then bold. I'm just going to format this a little bit. So if we compile this, as you can see, this text is now it's now bolded. If you want to see, I have autocompletion on, so you can basically check what you can do. So we have blink, we have bold, we have conceal, we have faint, italic, reverse, strike through, and underline. Let's try underline, see what we get. So as you can see, this is underlined. Now let's see what kind of colors we can try. So there are a lot of colors you can play with. So that's going to be it for today. I hope you enjoyed this video. If you need more information about this library, make sure to check the official documentation on it. So that is all for this video. Remember to subscribe to this channel if you want to see more videos like this one, and I will see you later.